You know, Trump can't get a break, can he? I mean, they won't leave the guy alone. You know who this guy D.A. Bragg is? District Attorney in New York. I heard they're about to charge him with something else. I'm not joking. This is a true story. Apparently, D.A. Bragg is going to charge Trump with obstructing an assassination attempt. I mean, the guy can't get a break. I was at the Republican convention just a few weeks ago, and Neil Cavuto from Fox News was interviewing me, and Neil Cavuto's probably done 150 interviews with me. And you know, you talk to these guys, you talk to Pete, you know, they're doing an interview of you, and they come on in the break. Hey, Mark, how you doing? Oh, great. Is it okay if we ask about, I know the guy. And I'm doing an interview from the floor, and Cavuto has the camera on me, light comes on, it's time to talk. Cavuto says, "This is Chairman Mark Green, the chairman of the Committee on Homeland Security." He's the guy that impeached Alejandro Mayorkas. And then he goes, "He represents the 7th District of Texas." And I immediately put my hand up right to the camera and I said, "Whoa, Neil, I represent the 7th District of Tennessee, and if there wasn't a 7th District of Tennessee, there wouldn't be a Texas." A lot of people don't know this. The first guy to hold the 7th District of Tennessee seat in Congress, Sam Houston, a great Tennessean who with a lot of volunteers went down there and fought for the freedom of Texas. I was down there recently doing a fundraiser in Dallas. Some Tennesseans who had moved to Texas, go figure, and they're actually raising a little money for me, so they do the event. And of course, I mentioned the same story I've told every Texan every time I bump into them, you know, what I just said. And they bring me into their study afterwards, and they pull something off the shelf. And it's a certificate. It's old, documented in a frame, and they hand it to me, and I'm holding it in my hand. And I realize, holy cow, this is the land grant from the president of Texas to the family of Davy Crockett. You know, Tennessee, our volunteers are amazing. And we're different than other states. You know, you look at like Ohio. They name themselves the Buckeyes after a nut, right? I mean, we name ourselves after our people, volunteers. I love it. I love it. Great to represent you guys. I'm gonna give a shout out to Pete. Pete is an amazing speaker. You're gonna love hearing from him here in a moment. But what the guy is a passionate patriot. He loves the country. And he realizes and has written some great books on the education of American kids. If you haven't read that, get his book, read it, it's fantastic. I think it was 2 years ago, right, Pete, that I bought a copy for every member of the state legislature. And I bought them dinner and I gave them a copy of Pete's book because it is critical. If we want the future of our great country, just like this young man right here said, we got to teach them to make choices based on the founding principles of this country. Brother, that's one of the best speeches I've heard in a really long time. Thank you. Mr. DeBerry is a great Tennessean, another volunteer who's standing in the gap for people and for the kingdom. Thank you. Someone already mentioned the local elected officials, the state elected officials. I'll give a shout out to my colleagues who are in Washington, D.C., wading through the crap of the swamp. And you know what's great about Tennessee? We have this thing in Washington called the House Freedom Caucus. Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows and guys like that founded that thing. In Tennessee, we have 3 members. There are only about 35, 40 of us up there. There are 3 members in the House Freedom Caucus from Tennessee: Andy Ogles, Diana Harshberger, and Mark Green. And let me tell you, we're up there with John and others fighting for the freedom of this country. Now, I'm going to do something and ask the veterans in this room. If you're a veteran, law enforcement, or first responder, would you stand and let's give you a round of applause. Thanks for putting your ass on the line for our freedom, every one of you. Good to see you, brother. Night Stalkers don't quit. You know, when Davy Crockett went down there to Texas, he took his own gun. They didn't issue him a rifle. That Second Amendment has one purpose, one word: freedom. The Second Amendment is the guarantee of freedom. It is the guarantor of freedom. And that's why the left hates it, because look, they want to concentrate power in Washington, D.C. and take our freedom from us. Our founders brilliantly spread power out, 3 branches of government, 3 separate branches of government that were supposed to be equal. Not so now, right? Because the administration says, oh, the Congress passed a law about detaining people at the border. We're going to blow that one off and hold all felonies and send them home. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to put 44,000 felons into the country. Totally disregarding the United States Congress's laws that we've passed. If you don't want to follow our laws, executive branch, why do you need a Congress? But John, we shouldn't feel offended, right? Because the president was told by the Supreme Court, you can't pay off kids' student loans. You know what he said? Screw the Supreme Court. We might as well have a king. Well, that's why a few months ago, I think I promised y'all last year I was here, I was going to do it. We led a 10-month investigation, and I walked the impeachment articles for the first sitting cabinet secretary in the history of this country to the Senate, and we impeached Alejandro Mayorkas for his lawless behavior. He'll wear that for the rest of his life. The guarantor of our freedom. But the guarantor of the Second Amendment in Tennessee is the Tennessee Firearms Association. These guys are in the trenches fighting for you and for our right, our God-given right, to defend our families and to defend our freedom. When those young men at Lexington and Concord decided to step into the fray, they used their weapons. And our founders, when they wrote the Constitution, knew that. It's to keep the state free. It's very clear what the purpose of that amendment is. The guarantor of that amendment is the TFA. Whether it's red flag laws, I carried the constitutional carry bill, I don't know, Richard, how many times when I was in the state Senate? It's time, 3 times. It is time to get it done. And let's keep pushing the TFA. Thank you for being here. If you're not a lifetime member, join as a lifetime member. You get a nice jacket out of the deal. Y'all still giving the jackets out? Oh, that's okay. I'm not supposed to get special deals. All right. I just want to say this, and I'm going to step down because I wasn't going to take this long. I promised John Rose I wasn't going to speak but for 3 minutes. This is a great country. Despite the challenges and the choices, as Rep. Barry said, that some people are making, this is still the greatest country on earth. It is the freest, most amazing country on earth. Many of you know that I served our country for a long time. I commanded a rifle company in the 82nd Airborne Division, and recently I got asked to go and jump in a reenactment parachute jump of the invasion of Normandy and D-Day. And I went back and put on a parachute, put on a World War II uniform, had the 101st Airborne patch on my left. Not because I served in the 101st, I served in the 82nd, but I chose to wear the 101st because my son right now is a rifle company commander, Army Ranger in the 101st Airborne Division. Nothing like pinning your Ranger tab that was pinned on you 33 years before on your son. That was pretty cool. But he's there, and so I wore that patch. But in my pocket, over my left breast, was an 82nd Airborne Division patch that had been worn on a paratrooper that night 80 years before. And I stood in that C-47 that had flown that night. It had been kept in pristine condition. The men who flew it that night, their names were written on the inside of the aircraft. I'm standing there, static line in hand, ready to go out the door, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not 17. This is not the first time I've ever left my country. This is daylight. That night it was dark. And there are no bullets ripping through the aircraft as I fly through. Now, there were in Baghdad when I went into that one, but there were none that day. And I jumped out to a beautiful sunny day, got to the ground, gathered up my chute, and then we went to the cemetery, where 9,000 plus rows of crosses and stars of David stand as a stark reminder to all of us just how great this country is. When our blood stained the beaches and the hedgerows of Normandy to bring freedom to the world. This is a country worth fighting for. This is a country worth fighting for. Nobody ever won wars in history and didn't take the land, and all we asked for was a place to bury our dead. And then we turned around with billions of our taxpayer dollars and paid to rebuild the very country that had perpetrated Nazism on the world. When in history has a country ever done that? We are a great nation, and it's worthy of our sacrifice. And I can tell you this, we had about 11% of the people vote in the primary. You want to fight for this country? Do you love this country? Is it worth fighting for to you? I think it is. I think it is. Right now, there's a man and a woman out there with a rucksack on their back and a rifle in their hand, standing the gap for our freedom. Let's give them a commander-in-chief worthy of their sacrifice. Let's give them a congressman or woman worthy of their sacrifice, a senator worthy of their sacrifice. Let's go vote Republican, because the Democrats have lost their bleeping minds. God bless you guys. God bless the TFA. Let's get her done.